Hi, welcome to the Eastern Township School Board series of videos. In this module, we're going to explore the settings in Zoom, part of the Introduction to Technologies course. Now, this is the first of two videos. The first one is going to be about the internal settings of Zoom, and the second one is going to be on the actual website of Zoom. Two different pairs of settings, and they do different things. So, first thing is when you launch Zoom, again, when you don't join the Zoom meeting, but when you actually physically launch Zoom from your computer, you're going to be taken to this screen here, or alternatively to the meeting screen, but you're going to be taken to this main screen that has 4 tabs on top. You're going to need to click on Home in here, and right on the top right, there's a little gear right underneath your icon. If you don't have an icon, you're not going to see your picture, but it's going to be right here. It's called Settings or Preferences. By clicking here, this is going to open my settings panel. Now we're going to take a few minutes and go through these, especially those that are important. First of all, if you are using dual monitor, which we highly recommend for this class, turn it on. If you don't, you can just leave it off. It's not necessary. You can enter full screen when you start or join a video Zoom meeting, which is kind of interesting because it'll actually take more of your screen so you can see more. You can always go out of full screen mode very quickly. You can copy automatically a link when you start a meeting, your link to invite people. You can ask to confirm when you leave a meeting. That way when you click end meeting or leave meeting, it's not going to take you straight out, especially if you click by mistake. Other things that are important here, you can be reminded 15 minutes before your meeting starts. You can also choose your theme, if it's going to be a light background or a dark background, and you can choose your skin tone reaction. If you click on View More Settings, this will be part 2 of this video. This will actually launch the zoom.us website and go through all your settings or preferences on the website. So we're not going to click on that right now. This is going to be on the second video. Speaking of video, on the Video tab here, this will let you select your camera. If you have multiple camera, like an external camera or an internal camera, you can also enable HD, so the quality will be better. If you have a very slow connection, you can leave it to the original ratio, which will be depending on your computer, and will not enable HD, so it'll be a bit faster. You can, by default, mirror your video. You can turn that off. Touch up your appearance will give you a little filter that will, something like Instagram or any one of those TikTok videos where you can actually make your skin tone a little bit better, smooth out your acne if you have any. You can slide it off from less touch up to a lot more touch up. You can adjust for light. That will do so automatically. If you want to do it manually, you can have your camera be a bit brighter or a bit darker. Now, you can always display participants' name on the video, which is good because that way you'll see people's name on their video. You can turn off your video when joining if you have a very slow connection. Always allow to show video preview, so when you are joining a video meeting, it will actually show you a little preview of yourself to see, and you can touch yourself up a little bit before your meeting. You can decide also to hide people that don't have video so that they don't show up on your screen. And you can also spotlight my video when speaking. This should be on by default because when somebody speaks, you should have their video show up and be highlighted. As well, you can display up to 49 participants, including yourself. That's 50 per screen. If I go to the advanced mode, it's just basically a bit more advanced. You can optimize your video quality and use hardware acceleration. Now, if I go to the audio tab in here, you can test your speaker, you can test your mic. You can see as I'm talking that it has a bar here, and I can increase my input volume or not. You can also select which microphone. If you have an external microphone, as I do, you can use the external microphone or your internal microphone. Again, same your speaker. If you have built-in speakers or external speakers, you can select the one you want. Now, this will automatically adjust microphone volume, which is good. If you start screaming, it's going to take it down a bit, and if you don't talk loudly enough, it'll actually try to bump up your voice a bit. Automatically join automatically join with the computer audio when you're joining a meeting, which should always be on, or you can also mute it when joining a meeting. Your choice. Press and hold space key to temporarily unmute is very practical. You just hold down the space bar if you're muted, and as long as you're holding the space bar, you'll be able to speak, and when you let the space bar go, it'll go back to mute. The advanced setting has basically a show in meeting option to enable original sound. Basically, this will turn off automatic cancellation for echo and background noises that are a bit troublesome. So if you want to hear really what they're saying, if it's filtering it too much, you can turn it on. That's under the Advanced tab. Share screen basically has option about sharing screen. It will automatically enter full screen mode when somebody shares their screen. It'll also have it side by side with their picture, so you can see them and see what they're showing. And also you can silence automatically your system notification when you're sharing desktop. There's also an Advanced tab here that gives you a lot more different choice. The option, for example, to have a green border around the shared screen so that you know that this is not your screen, but it's the shared screen. If I go to chat here, basically a lot of options for chats. You always have to be sure that you have the newest version of Zoom. Right now I have the newest version of Zoom that will actually play a sound when I receive a new message in the chat, which is something that you should have, especially if you want to make sure that you don't miss a chat. You'll also have a little show unread messages count for the chat that are waiting or the new chats on here. You can decide to keep your unread message on top, decide what color theme you're going to be using. There's tons of options in here, but basically it's a question of preference here. The only ones that are really important would be to play a sound, to make sure that at the bottom of your screen does have a count for the messages that are received. Backgrounds and filter. If you have a slow connection, do not play with this. If you have a fast connection and you want to be I would say the annoying person on the meeting that has a background, you can choose a background. You can even have your own personal background here. There's also some video filters where you can put some pig's ears on your head if you want to. There's quite a few different options. Again, this is a newer version of Zoom, so make sure you're up to date. Mirror my video happens automatically. You can turn that off, especially if you have text. If you have text, you'll have to uncheck mirror my video, otherwise it'll be backwards. There's also some studio effects here that you can put a mustache on someone or change your lip colors and so on and so forth. Underneath the recording tab, if you are going to record, it's automatically going to put it in the folder that's selected up here. Or you can choose a location when you're done with the meeting. So that will let you decide where you're going to put it. You can also record video during screen sharing. So important, if somebody shares their screen, you want to record that as well. That is on by default. You can also optimize for a third-party video editor. If you're going to take the Zoom call after, you're going to grab that video and you're going to modify it in, say, Adobe Premiere. So that will make a file size that's bigger, but will allow you to work on it at a higher quality. Under your profile here, not much. You can just view your advanced feature or edit your profile. These will both send you to the zoom.us website. You can also upgrade to Pro should you choose to. Again, that will send you to the same website. Statistics are really for geeks here. You've got lots of different things about overall your connection, your bandwidth, as far as your audio, what's your frequency, your latency, so on and so forth. So these are different options, but not options, but basically statistics for geeks. Feedback lets you send feedback to the Zoom organization. Here you can have all your different keyboard under keyboard shortcuts. You can even change them or restore them to default if you've changed them. So it's a good thing to look at what they have. For example, press and hold the space key to temporarily unmute. Spacebar, you can change that. Accessibility, if you have trouble, you can actually have your screenshots higher. So if you have a difficulty reading, you can have different things that we can enable and uncheck. You can also change the size of your chat, which is fairly small, so you can change that to be a bit higher. So these are your settings or preferences in Zoom. In the second part of this video, we're going to click on View More Settings to go to the actual website.